Hello and welcome to the Baby Bliss Bot and Augmented Alternative Communication Project, supported by a Canadian SSHRC New Frontiers grant for inclusive design for employment access, the Inclusive Design Research Center and Institute, both led by Dr. Jutta Trevianos and Augmented University. My name is Angelika Zeisha Ferres. I'm an Associate Professor of Design at Augmented University in Toronto, Canada, with expertise in industrial, inclusive, and speculative critical design. I am pleased to present this developing project to you alongside my colleagues Cindy Lee and Joseph Scheuhammer, both senior inclusive developers from the Inclusive Design Research Center.
Imagine that you cannot speak, but have something important to say. Imagine your only means of communicating is by pointing to symbols, a sequence of letters, icons, or some other kinds of symbols. To compose a sentence will take much longer than just saying what you want to say. Now suppose you can't even point. Try to imagine that. There are individuals who use Bliss symbol boards and other devices to compose their sentences one symbol at a time. It can take upwards of 20 to 30 seconds to put together a single sentence. People who use these systems have envisioned simply thinking what they want to say and having some device say it right away. The Baby Bliss Bot Project is not trying to accomplish something as advanced as that. The aim of the project is to leverage both alternative means of selecting symbols and to use large language models' predictive abilities in order to speed up communication for individuals who cannot speak. In both cases, symbol selection and large language models, we seek to reduce the lag so that conversation is closer to real time. We are a group of educators, designers, artists, software engineers, and most importantly, Bliss AAC users working towards a solution. Bliss symbols were invented by Charles Bliss in 1949 as an ideographic writing system. He authored a book to describe the system titled Semantography, or meaning writing. In 1971, the system was adopted by Shirley McNaughton at the Ontario Crippled Children's Centre as an alternative form of communication for children with a severe speech impairment. Currently, there are more than 5,000 symbols. Some symbols, called Bliss characters, are atomic, where a single symbol stands for a concept. Bliss words are created by combining Bliss characters according to specific rules. Bliss symbols are not spoken. In fact, Bliss symbols are not meant to be spoken. This means that they can be used by someone who has difficulty speaking as a way of showing what they want to say. They also can and have been used for language learning and literacy. In this case, Bliss is used to learn how to read and write the language of one's culture, one's native tongue, so to speak. I'm going to now give the briefest of introductions to Bliss, some very basic aspects of Bliss and its structure. Here are 6 Bliss characters for house, medical, knowledge, and so on. Bliss characters are the basic building blocks of Bliss. Bliss words are created by combining Bliss characters. By placing house together with medical, for example, one arrives at a house of medicine or hospital. A house of book is a library, and so on. One can then take characters and words and sequence them together to form sentences. But note, one cannot simply put Bliss characters together randomly in any order. There is a set of rules for proper combinations to create well-formed words and sentences, a grammatical structure. Having a grammar is relevant to large language models, which are good at recognizing patterns of words and sentences. There is a lot more to the structure of Bliss. This is addressed in another presentation titled Blissful Questions, where Shirley McNaughton is interviewed about Bliss and its development. Now, here is Cindy Lee to explain why we chose Blissymbolics for the project.
I will talk about the benefits of Blissymbolics. First of all, it lets you express abstract concepts in a concise way using simple shorthand. Instead of long explanations, you can just use symbols to get ideas across quickly and visually. Additionally, Blissymbolics allows you to create new meanings by combining the symbols in different ways. It's like a creative playground for generating concepts and ideas. Another cool thing about Blissymbolics is how efficiently you can convey complex messages. With the right symbol selections and grammar rules, you can pack complex meaning into just a few symbols. Finally, the consistent grammar patterns in Blissymbolics make it easier for language models to understand compared to pictographic systems. This opens up all sorts of possibilities for assistive technology and human AI collaboration. Now I'm going to walk you through our communication companion designed to enhance input speed and facilitate effective communication for AAC users. This companion aims to emulate a familiar communication partner by translating concise phrases inputted by AAC users into complete sentences that can be easily understood by unfamiliar listeners. From the left to right on the diagram, first, AAC users input short-form phrases through a web-based adaptive palette using various forms, such as Bliss symbols, natural language, or user-defined texts or symbols. As users enter their input, the recommendation module queries a language model to predict subsequent words or complete sentences in both Bliss and natural language formats. Once the user completes a phrase, the translation module takes the user's input and conceptual details to generate prompts for a language model. This language model then expands the short phrase into full, comprehensible sentences for unfamiliar listeners. AAC users can provide feedback on the quality of the translated sentences, which allows for valuable data collection to fine-tune personalized language models. Now I will pass to Angelica to start on the part 2.
The Baby Bliss Bot Project engages a growing international transdisciplinary group of experts to support augmented and alternative communication users, currently from 12 countries, 19 organizations, and over 6 disciplines, including communication and computer scientists, designers, artists, educators, speech pathologists, occupational therapists, and augmented assistive communication AAC users fluent in Blissymbolics. We have iteratively developed an AI tool with AAC users at the center and as chief designers, driving the inclusive design development one by one, specific person and use case at the time. In our current stage of development, AAC users and their familiar communication partners are sharing insights on their current technology-assisted AAC systems and their needs, aspiration, and desires for a system that goes beyond translation and represents their voices and identities. As such, the project also creates a case study on how we suggest AI models and life cycles should be developed with great care, always considering the very diverse needs from outliers first and foremost. The goal of the Baby Bliss Bot system we are developing is to train a contextually aware and personalized communication companion. We utilize both large and small language models to address bias in our current models and integrate Blissymbolics to enhance ease of use and communication fluency. Our objectives include improving prediction accuracy, personalizing suggestions, fostering a personal voice in various conversation types, such as inquiry, discovery, and humor, to name a few, and increasing communication speed. AAC users can communicate with non-familiar listeners, such as in a work context, by enabling translations between Blissymbolics and natural languages that our AAC users are immersed in their daily lives and their communication counterparts. One of the first contexts we hope to test further and apply the Baby Bliss Bot project is an employment setting. AAC users face some of the most daunting barriers to employment. Communication is essential to all employment opportunities, especially for workers who are also physically impaired. Efficient and effective communication is a requisite skill. The constrained pace and communication fluency are significant barriers to employment for AAC users, and expanding one's career through professional training and developing opportunities is rare. The project will prototype access to a semantic shorthand, that of Blissymbolics, and translation to situationally appropriate interpretations for AAC users in employment and pre-employment settings.